Well, an historic day in American history yesterday. The January 6th committee of the House of Representatives investigating the Trump riots of 2021 has approved criminal referrals for a former president. No, it's not against Barack Obama. Obama. Come on, guys. It's against failed former President Donald Trump. NBC News reports January 6th committee approves criminal referrals against Trump for his role in trying to overturn the 2020 election. The panel also issued a criminal referral to the DOJ for conservative attorney John Eastman. He's the genius who came up with the strategy. I don't even know what to call it. The idea for how former Vice President Mike Pence could prevent the certification of the 2020 election. We are going to now hear from one of the members of the committee, Jamie Raskin. Let's listen.
The first criminal statute we invoke for referral, therefore, is Title 18, Section 1512C, which makes it unlawful for anyone to corruptly obstruct, influence, or impede any official proceeding of the United States government. We believe that the evidence described by my colleagues today and assembled throughout our hearings warrants a criminal referral of former President Donald J. Trump, John Eastman, and others for violations of this statute.
Wow.
The whole purpose and obvious effect of Trump's scheme were to obstruct, influence, and impede this official proceeding, the central moment for the lawful transfer of power in the United States. Second, we believe that there is more than sufficient evidence to refer former President Donald J. Trump, John Eastman, and others for violating Title 18, Section 371. This statute makes it a crime to conspire to defraud the United States. In other words, to make an agreement to impair, obstruct, or defeat the lawful functions of the United States government by deceitful or dishonest means. Former President Trump did not engage in a plan to defraud the United States acting alone. He entered into agreements, formal and informal, with several other individuals who assisted him with his criminal objectives.
I'll say.
Our report describes in detail the actions of numerous co-conspirators who agreed with and participated in Trump's plan to impair, obstruct, and defeat the certification of President Biden's electoral victory. That said, the subcommittee does not attempt to determine all of the potential participants in this conspiracy, as our understanding of the role of many individuals may be incomplete even today because they refuse to answer our questions. We trust that the Department of Justice will be able to form a far more complete picture through its own investigation. Third, we make a referral based on Title 18, Section 1001, which makes it unlawful to knowingly and willfully make materially false statements to the federal government.
And then fourth, just in the interest of time, this was a very long hearing. Fourth is inciting, assisting, or aiding/comforting an insurrection. So 4 different criminal referrals. How did Trump react? You could probably guess, but we're going to look at that a little later. But let me address some of the emails that I've received about this. This is a long overdue step, but that's all it is. It is one small step. And there's a lot of doubt and cynicism in the emails that I've been receiving from many of you over the last 24 hours. And I get it. I do get it. We all want to see justice served against these individuals, but it is a process. And it's worth remembering that the DOJ has to build a case. There is an astounding amount of evidence. They have to piece that case together. And we all know colloquially, and folks, everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. This show is not a court of law. This is a place where we just speak frankly. We all know, as we read through the different statutes that Jamie Raskin described there, we all know Trump did the stuff he's accused of. We all know that colloquially speaking, he did it. But the question starts to become, is there the possibility of finding guilt beyond a reasonable doubt here? We all know, and we watched enough to know that, colloquially speaking, of course, Donald Trump did the things for which he is being referred. And this includes all four of those items that Jamie Raskin mentioned. He was able to incite a mob to storm the Capitol on January 6th, and attempt to disrupt the peaceful transition of power, and put the lives of members of Congress and his own vice president at risk. All of it, all of it, all of it. There are some who will argue that the criminal referrals that we are seeing here are strictly a political move. These aren't really law enforcement elements. This is just Democrats playing politics. And it may end up being that if it doesn't go any further. But this is a necessary step. In other words, the committee did what it had to do, and it determined we have the evidence for a criminal referral. It may stop there, but that's all that the House committee can actually do. Now it is a question of what is Merrick Garland willing to do, as we spoke about yesterday, and we talked about the one word that is the reason why presidents have not been indicted in the United States. That word is tradition, and that's not a very strong reason not to indict a president who did things no other president has done. How could federal criminal charges affect Trump's 2024 presidential run becomes another political question as we wait for answers to the legal questions. In general, in like a normal world, criminal charges against an individual while they're running for president would affect their reputation. It would affect their credibility. It would make it more difficult for them to actually win. But we've already experienced with Donald Trump in 2016 that seemingly nothing can actually damage him enough with the Republican base to torpedo his presidential campaign. 2024 could be different. If Trump were to be convicted of a crime, now we're taking many hypothetical steps into the future. He could face prison time. Yeah, that would make it difficult to hold office. That would make it difficult to campaign. Even if he was not convicted or imprisoned, the fact that he would face criminal charges could be a liability in a presidential campaign to the extent that it becomes a distraction. It could raise questions about his judgment or fitness for office in a normal world. But this is the Republican electorate. This is the very same Republican electorate who chose him in 2016 and who gleefully welcomed him back in 2020 as their nominee. So any assumption that even criminal charges or a conviction would torpedo Trump's campaign are possible, but potentially premature until we actually see what happens. Let's now talk about Donald Trump's reaction to this. As many of you know, I am fascinated by cons and scams and multi-level marketing and all of this different stuff. I recently saw Inside the Mind of a Con Artist on Curiosity Stream. It's 6 episodes and it was excellent. I don't think I would have discovered it were it not for our sponsor, Curiosity Stream. Curiosity Stream has all the newest and best documentary films. They've got the big titles from the well-known filmmakers. They've got valuable independent films, tons of original content that you can't find anywhere else. When I'm at home browsing my different streaming platforms, I find Curiosity Stream to really have the best selection of documentaries specifically, because documentaries is all that they have, and they're always adding new titles. My audience gets access to Curiosity Stream's entire library of documentaries for just $15 a year. That's 25% off. Go to curiositystream.com/Pacman or use the code Pacman. The link is down below.